Okay, guys, it's your boy Gamma, and before we get started today, I know some of you are wondering, if this channel is supposed to be primarily and only based on all things gaming and anime. Then I don't know why is he discussing anything to do with the Avengers or the Avengers series or anything like that. But you see, the GAM in gaming stands for Gamma stands for gaming, and the final A at the end stands for anime. But there's still an extra M, and to be honest, I did not know what to do with that extra M. So I think that we're going to be doing more. Obviously, we're still going to be mainly based on all things gaming and anime, so it's not like we're going to change that. But sometimes you're going to review things like comics. I think it's something connected with anime, because without comics, anime manga, kind of wouldn't really exist. Or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not sure, but I know both of them are quite affiliated with each other, and they do have some things in common. Anyway, so today we're gonna be talking about the Avengers series. For those of you who are interested in seeing Endgame and want to know what all the hype is about and have never seen an MCU movie, but you want to sit down and you want to enjoy it, and you don't want to be confused, but you still don't want to sit down and watch through every single MCU movie, because there is a lot. We're gonna give you guys a quick synopsis and a recap on the Avengers, the entire Avengers series, and the history of the MCU, so you have a better grounding and understanding of this universe. So stay tuned, and I'm not gonna be presenting today. It's your boy Young Ford who's gonna be presented. So bro, take it away.
So what is going on, everyone? It's your boy Young Ford, and I'm back here with another segment of Gamma Reviews, where we're not here to talk about radiation, but we're here to talk about all things gaming, comics, and anime. And today we're going to touch on some comics, alright? So we're going to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything that they have done over the past couple of years. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm not going to, be too long with this video or anything, but I'm just going to give a brief synopsis of the past couple of Marvel movies that have taken place over the past 10 years or so. So we're going to start off this list with Iron Man 1, and the journey he had to go through within his very first standalone movie to progress further on into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it starts off with Tony Stark, living his life as a billionaire philanthropist, as an entrepreneur. He was basically selling, like weapons and stuff to the highest bidder. He wasn't necessarily a good guy then. And as a matter of fact, it took being abducted by a bunch of terrorists for him to realize, who his true identity was as the Iron Man, as he built his very first suit, the Mark 1 prototype. And from there, throughout actually stepping into his own light as a superhero, he would have, met certain individuals that would have formulated the introduction of many other Marvel characters, such as Thor, the Hulk, Black Widow. We've got Ant-Man, Vision, and all these different characters, even the Guardians of the Galaxy. And from there we are introduced to characters. Well, we were introduced to the character of Thor. He also had his own very journey to go through with regards to, stepping into his own destiny as a superhero. He was living his life back on Asgard. He was very hot-headed in the sense that he loved to fight. He would love to go out on different adventures with his friends, and he would just love to fight. And Odin, his father, had to teach him a lesson based upon learning to choose your battles wisely. And he went through a lot because he was exiled by his father and everything, and he had to come to terms with being normal and being humble in order for him to get back his power, which was taken to him by his father. And he also had to come to the realization that his brother Loki was a traitor to him and to his people all along. And like I said, each standalone movie in itself introduced different characters, such as like Agent Coulson at the end of Thor. You know, we learned that he was Nick Fury's right hand man, and he's part of the Avengers Union. You know, but before the Avengers, we are introduced to the character of Captain America. You know, and it seems though it's like a pattern with all of these different characters. They all had a certain obstacle to overcome. They all had certain moral lessons necessary to learn. You know, Captain, he had to come to the realization that, you know, despite the fact that he originally started off with a much smaller frame, that was before the whole super soldier thing. You know, despite the fact that he had a much smaller frame, you know, he was able to learn that basically he was able to just, you know, do whatever it is that is needed for him to be done, whether it be to save a life, whether it be to lay down his own life to protect someone else, as we saw in a scene where he was in the army as he joined to try to fight for his country. And there was a scene where they threw a dummy bomb. They threw a bomb on the floor. The person that exactly threw the bomb was one of his captains at the army base. They threw a bomb on the floor, and basically they were trying to test like who would actually try to defuse the situation or try to just protect everyone else from, you know, the explosion from the bomb. And the captain, Steve Rogers, sorry, I'm mixing up the characters, but Steve, he had to basically just come to the decision that, okay, there's this bomb and I'm gonna have to try to save everyone else. So he literally jumped on the bomb, you know, and that was a very remarkable scene. And, you know, it showed that despite the fact that, you know, he was so small, he had a lot of courage, he had a lot of, you know, determination to prove that he was more than just what he was at the time, you know. And after the whole super soldier serum, when he received it, he got, you know, enhanced physically, and he had to go to war, and he fought off the Nazis, who were actually the Hydra organization led by the Red Skull at that time. And, you know, he did what he had to do and he saved the day. You know, nevertheless, he was then frozen in ice for over 70 years, only to wake up in like this modern time. You know, he then met up with Nick Fury, and Nick Fury tried to invite him to be an Avenger, basically, and it turns out he was the very first Avenger. And we were then met up with the Avengers movie, with their very first battle against Loki and his affiliations to the Kree Empire. You know, the Avengers, the way the movie took place was that basically these different superheroes came into the picture, such as Thor and Hulk and Black Widow, Captain America, and, you know, they had to basically work out their differences with each other and work together to try to, you know, achieve their goal, which was to stop Loki and his plans to conquer the Earth. You know, Loki, the type of character he is basically this guy that just wants total control over everything, and he wants to be acknowledged for his power and his presence. And the Avengers had to stop his plans because Loki literally called in an invasion, a fleet of Kree ships to try to take over the Earth, and the Avengers had to do what, you know, they had to avenge the Earth, you know. And from there we are met up with the Age of Ultron, which basically kicks off with, you know, the Earth, well, the people of the Earth, the world leaders basically came to the realization that despite the fact that we have these new heroes, the Avengers, they are causing a lot of chaos by saving the Earth, you know, because after the battle from Avengers 1, while they were saving the Earth and everything, they left a huge mess behind. You know, they destroyed an entire city just to, you know, protect everyone else, you know. And basically the world leaders for Age of Ultron, they came to the realization that there should not be an Avengers. Like there shouldn't be that team of superheroes. So Tony came to that realization as well, and he created Ultron, which is his second attempt at artificial intelligence, you know. And we all know how artificial intelligence works, you know. Eventually it decides to do its own thing, and it decides to start thinking for itself and, you know, questioning its creator, you know. And Ultron did just that. He started to question Tony's, you know, decisions and everything that he did, and Ultron rose up, created his very own army of evil robots, and the Avengers once again had to, team up and stop Ultron. And that whole movie introduced us to a new character by the name of Vision, and he possesses one of the Infinity Stones, as we all know by now. And after the events of the Age of Ultron, a lot of new characters as well were introduced. We got to see Black Panther, Spider-Man, we got to see Ant-Man, we saw the Guardians, and all these different characters had their own standalone movies, which were really great. Black Panther, one of the best Marvel movies ever created. He himself had his own journey to go through as well, with regards to becoming a new king of Wakanda and dealing with the fact that his cousin had a lot of hate for the people of Wakanda and everything, and he had to stop him basically from exacting his revenge due to the fact that Black Panther's father killed his cousin's father, and it was a huge battle between the two of them, but Black Panther ultimately won at the end. Then we were introduced to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man did his thing. As a young kid, he had to learn a lot of lessons when it comes to being responsible for the actions that he takes. What I would have liked to see though was just a couple of scenes with Uncle Ben, because we didn't actually see any scenes with him. Just basically talking to Peter and letting him know. Well, we all know the famous quote of Uncle Ben: "With great power comes great responsibility," and all that. But throughout the movie, we got to see like Tony Stark acting like an Uncle Ben, giving him a lot of lessons and stuff like that. And from there, we were then introduced to the Civil War at the end of Captain America 3, where like the Avengers sort of like disassembled. They had their bickering and their fighting and everything, and that movie was pretty sad at the end, because the Winter Soldier actually lost one of his arms, and and from there we were then introduced to Avengers Infinity War. We were introduced to Thanos and the Infinity Stones, which are the Time Stone, the Space Stone, the Power Stone, the Reality Stone, the Mind Stone, and the Soul Stone. And Thanos had his plan to achieve and obtain all of these different stones, and ultimately wipe out half of the galaxy, or like wipe out half of every single life form in the galaxy, to try to create a sort of peace, because he thought to himself that there was too much life in the world, and that was causing a lot of disorder and chaos. So he thought, I'm just gonna go out and just destroy half of everything. And throughout Avengers Infinity War, the Avengers had to then try to reunite from being disassembled at the end of Civil War, and they had to basically try to stop Thanos and what he was doing, And despite every single plan that they came up with, every single contingency that they had, they just ultimately could not stop Thanos. Thanos did what he did what he set out to do, and he wiped out half of every single life form in the galaxy. And it was a pretty sad ending, because we saw a lot of deaths of the Avengers. We saw Peter Parker die, Spider-Man. We saw who else died? A few of the Guardians died. I think Star-Lord died, and Drax. We saw Black Panther die. We saw Falcon die. We saw the Winter Soldier die. We saw a lot of people from Wakanda dying, and many countless more people died throughout the movie. And something had to be done to try to fix this, and we were then introduced to a very powerful character who is supposed to be the answer to Thanos, and the one to actually take down Thanos, which is Captain Marvel. And a lot of people have a lot of mixed reviews about the character in itself and the movie which took place. I'm not going to talk about it too much, because I know a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but she plays, I know for a fact she plays a very big role in the demise of Thanos in Avengers Endgame, which comes out very soon. So I hope that all of you that are watching this video, you will look out for it, and I know for a fact that everyone will enjoy this movie, because it's been 10 years in the waiting, and it's gonna be epic. Alright, so basically over the past 10 years, all of the different movies that came together, they were all intertwined with each other. every single movie was linked to one another, and there were a lot of end credit scenes that showed you basically what plan the Russo brothers had for the MCU, and so far it has gone off without a hitch, and it's been amazing. It's been an amazing time actually viewing all of these different movies. I know for a fact that a lot of people are very invested in the MCU and are just waiting to see what the future holds with regards to everything that the Russo brothers have in store for us. Alright, so guys, that's basically it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed basically my brief synopsis of everything that took place, and I would urge you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video to your friends, and I'll see you next time on Gamma Reviews. Peace.